Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, depending on the time it is, wherever you're watching us from. It is such a pleasure to have you on our TV. Welcome to the summit. My name is Jackie Lumbasi. I give you a warm welcome, regardless of the fact that it is a cold evening here in Kigali. I've got a friend of mine, Robert, online. Robert, good evening. How is the weather in Kenya? Is it Nairobi?
It's been raining, but this evening seems to be good.
Okay. Thank you so much for making time to be with us on the show, Robert. Dinamo, it is a pleasure to see you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Tonight on this summit, we will be talking about a debate, a subject that is quite serious, delicate at the same time, and we're looking forward to having a great conversation with the panelists that have spared their time to be part of this conversation that has been trending for the last 1 week, especially in Rwanda, but it's something that has been going on for a while. Well, the African region is faced with a growing burden of harmful alcohol consumption and its disastrous effects. There is consuming alcohol, but there's doing it at levels that are disastrous. Let's have a look at what's online. We have a hashtag that we'll be using, the Summit RW. If you've got your thoughts, you want to comment on what Dinamo or Robert will have said, or you just want to share your thoughts, please do so online using the hashtag the Summit RW. We're also on RBA's official YouTube channel. Make time, go there and watch it as well. And if you can, please do share off officially a comment that came through from our friend Beranova, and first and foremost, Beranova was quite mad at us, thinking that our panel did not have the youth represented. So I'll break Beranova's heart, because there's a youth on the panel. We've got a gentleman we're calling Mr. Anonymous, because we do not want to reveal his true identity. We'll call him Mr. Anonymous or Ben. He's young, so Beranova, you're fully represented. And she said rescuing youth from alcoholism requires a multifaceted approach involving individuals, families, communities, and institutions. She says education and awareness. Start by educating young people about the risks and consequences of alcohol abuse. School programs, community workshops, and public awareness campaigns can play a crucial role in this. Early intervention, family support, mental health services. Those are some of the points that are highlighted by Beranova. Family support, she says families should create a supportive and open environment where youth feel comfortable discussing their problems and seeking help. Encourage healthy communication within the family. We've got a lengthy post from Beranova. We will keep looking at each one of them. For now, let's introduce our panelists and kick off the conversation. My name is Jackie Lumbasi, and I'll be sitting in for Eugene Anangwe. I wish I could pronounce his surname the way he does, but no, I don't have the energy. Starting off with Dinamo Ndachai Senga, who's the Director of Drug Abuse Prevention and Management Unit at RBC. Dinamo, we're very honored to have you with us tonight.
Thank you, Jackie.
And we've got Robert Burale, we call him the coach, Robert Burale, who wears many hats, among them being the founder of MVP. MVP stands for Men of Valor, all the way in Kenya. Thank you so much for joining us, Robert.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you. So Robert is virtually with us. We will have Mr. Anonymous on phone as well. We're glad that you have joined us for the program. We're going to start with you, Dinamo. How serious is this situation? Because I know that the subject has trended for the last 1 week in Rwanda. And I was looking at comments online, and some people are saying, no, don't call it a disaster, because it's not a disaster. What are your thoughts? As somebody who sits at RBC and you're the Director of Drug Abuse Prevention, how is the situation?
Thank you, Jackie. I think when you talk about alcohol use, or maybe harmful use of alcohol, something trending on Twitter, social medias, I think it's a kind of protection. And we are happy that that information has reached to all corners that we want to reach. But I can start maybe saying that I'm going just to take reference from two figures. We have conducted research for NCD risk factors, year 2023. We found out that there is a baseline of 31%, which 41% of alcohol users, which has increased a bit at 70% within an interval period of 10 years.
Increased by 7%?
Yes.
Within 10 years?
During 10 years. So it was just regarding general population. But also we can take also another reference from the research that we have conducted in year 2022 among young people, 14 and 24 years. And we find out that 15% among them were using once or several times alcohol. Unfortunately, there are also some young people who are categorized among harmful use of alcohol, or maybe arriving at the level of heavy drinking.
How young?
Yes.
How young are those? When you say they're young people, how young are they?
So we have been categorizing them in the age category in between 14 years and 24. They are in between. They are in between. So, but what we know is that we cannot maybe qualify this as a disaster, because when you consider alcohol use in the history of our country, from the looting culture of our society, you see that the alcohol, it's not and have not been one of the illicit substances. It was always accepted. It was always characterizing our happiness, even our sorrow, even our problems are always handled just in front of
alcohol.
Alcohol. So I think that everyone can see alcohol used in Rwanda in our context, and of course when it comes to young people, that I don't want even to stigmatize or maybe to say that they are having out of our context. So I can say that the alcohol use was and is one of among our culture root causes. But of course, when we provide out some campaigns like Tunyweless campaign, Inzoga Sizabato campaign, and some or among many campaigns that have been conducted in this country to make sure that we are protecting our young people, we are protecting our population by providing an education, we are providing the right information, we want to break silence towards myth related to alcohol use.
So, I want to know, Dinamo, what formed the decision to start these campaigns? Because as you've said, traditionally, for the longest time, alcohol has been used during our wedding ceremonies. It doesn't matter what we are congregating for, but there was always alcohol. So at what point then did you say, this is getting out of hand, let's deal with it? Because it could have just been, when you tell me there's a 7% increase, it could have just been there's a 7% group that has grown, who are a little bit older, and so they're drinking.
Yeah, yes it is. But as public health officers, or maybe people who knows that even one person in this country should be protected, deserves a kind of protection. This 7% that I was talking about, it's not a few number. Because when you count them in the number, you can see that there is an increase in harmful use of alcohol and alcohol abuse. So you can see that even if it can be one person, he deserves a protection. This is number one. Number two, I was talking about that 15% of young people in pilot study that has been conducted in 2022, 15% among them were using alcohol once or maybe several times. So you see that this is not something that you can close eyes. So with that, with many other figures that we are finding out in our health facilities, there is a number of people who are coming, who are consulting health facilities because they have been affected by alcohol. Apart from that, we really know that there are evidences that alcohol is a source of many problems, including cancers, diabetes, mental health problems, depression comes just as first, and the other many social problems that are related to harmful use of alcohol. So this is one of the key factors that push the government, maybe with the different partners, with everyone, even families, to make sure that we can do something good to protect our young people, especially. But when we talk alcohol, in Rwanda, I can say that we are not only talking about young people. Because when you go back to figures from STEP survey, you can see that even adult people are among those who are using alcohol. So we want to make sure that everyone can be informed on hazard use of alcohol. And maybe if we can take a decision to continue to drink, or maybe to reduce number of drinking and frequencies and so on, but he can be sure that he is responsible on the way he's conducting his life. But of course, we deserve that our people deserve a kind of protection. They deserve real information. Especially those young people who understand some rumors from internet, from web-based information, and so on. As I said, alcohol is one of accepted or maybe illicit substance. So when it is accepted, there are different scenarios that can put people to provide some misinformation to young people in regard of alcohol use.
Yeah.
For us as healthcare providers, we really know that no safe alcohol use.
There is no safe
alcohol use.
Because I was going to ask you, at what point do you label it harmful alcohol consumption? Like, you know, so now you're saying there's no safe.
Yes.
Okay, let's pause there for a moment. We'll come back to you. Because I believe there's some safe zone.
no safe zone.
If you have just joined us, welcome to the summit. And please use the hashtag #TheSummitRW to share your thoughts. Our panelists tonight are Dinamo from RBC, Robert Burale, who's the founder of MVP. And we've got Mr. Anonymous, whom we're bringing on the show in a few seconds. He's someone that is on a recovery journey. So we'll get to hear from the horse's mouth how that journey has been for him. But in this particular episode of the summit, we seek to have a deeper conversation on the issue of alcoholism. When Dinamo says that alcohol leads to depression, I was seeing online people saying people drink because they are depressed. So those are some of the issues that we'll be dissecting. We've got Mr. Anonymous on the line. We'll call him Ben. Ben, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Ben, it is a pleasure to have you on the show with us. Tell us a bit about yourself and how you found yourself in a place where you needed help.
Thank you for having me. I'm an alcoholic and a grateful member of the Sudan group of Alcoholics Anonymous. I started drinking really late after I finished my university, and I started going. First, I started just taking a drink after lunch, or going with colleagues into a bar. Then I quickly found myself unable to go home with my friends. So I would act out and act as if I'm going home. And then once everyone had gone home, I would go back and stay for the night. And quickly took over the sometimes at my workplace because I was not able to go to work, or I would go to work directly from bar in the morning, and with the alcohol on. All of that progress until my family friends they noticed it. It was really I got warnings from work, and my family my family got mad, and at some point I remember even thought I was unique because the whole things I was going through, I was with people with police was doing a roundup of people in the street, and they took me with people without papers. I paid with the police force. And sometimes I would and taking to people with blood on me, and what I have to spend all the money I earned for the month in the bar and pay without the penny for the next month. And the one who said that if something like this happens, then I would not do it again. But it's just if I wasn't able to stop, I would make these resolutions. I would feel very bad in the morning after my drinking sleep. I would feel very bad and decide that I would not do it again. But this kind of resolution is not bad. Until I was introduced to this group, to my board, and they gave me this book, and I took this journey for real education. Basically, I understood myself understood where before I was not able even not if you would have told to me that you were drinking too much, you were going to be my enemy. I would be very much annoyed and yeah. So I understood myself and started the journey for recovery.
Thank you. That is the story of Ben, Mr. Anonymous, and I do apologize, the sound was not very clear, but I'm sure you could get bits and pieces of his stories. And when he says how he would wake up in the morning and sometimes he does not even know himself, Dinamo, you know, that is not a unique story. It's something that we have had. There are people who will go out, have a very long night, that they will take a motor back home, yet they had driven a car to that place where they were going to drink. I would love to bring in our friend Robert Burale, who's tuned in from Nairobi. And Robert, you've heard the story of Ben, our Mr. Anonymous. You have talked about addictions, different kinds of addictions, some of which you've gone through yourself, but others from your interaction with people. I would love you to say something about Ben's experience, but also if you can enlighten us when Dinamo says there's nothing like safe alcohol consumption. Do you agree with him? And as a person, what do you describe as harmful consumption of alcohol? Robert.
Well, thank you very much. Yes, I absolutely agree with Dinamo. I absolutely agree with him, because it starts as if it's fun. It starts as if it's harmless. Anybody who is deep in addiction did not start with a lot of consumption or whatever it was. Anybody who, Ben will tell you, it started with a sip. It started with a friend saying, let's have some fun. But what happens is that the first time you take a sip, it's like you're putting a rope on your neck, and then you go on, and you're tightening the noose. So I don't believe there is what we call safe alcohol consumption. There is a time it appears harmless, and that's when people say it is recreational drinking. But if you ask people like Ben, what would you do if you reversed the time? They would tell you, we may not even have dared touch alcohol in the first place, because then it takes you on a downward spiral. It's almost as if you are introducing the alcoholic taste beyond your tongue and to your bloodstream, whereby your blood demands for it. And that's why they say recovering alcoholics, not recovered, because they believe that it will just take one sip and then you go back down the rabbit hole. So with Dynamo, I absolutely agree with him. As for Ben's story, unfortunately, I didn't get a lot of it because of the staccato and the echo. But of course, the man looks back and says, I wish I knew better, you know, that you drink until you forget yourself. Now, when they say forget yourself, it's an indicator that they're not really forgetting themselves per se, but what they are going through. So yes, stress levels, psychological issues that drive people to drink almost to a stupor in an effort to try and numb or forget what you're going through. But when you wake up in the morning, guess what? It tells you, hey, I'm still here. What were you saying last night before you got drunk?
Thank you, Robert. We will get back to you. Thank you so much for those thoughts. Dynamo.
Yes.
Well, our friend Anonymous, he's not alone.
No safe of alcohol.
No, definitely. No safe zone. And as he said, he's not the only one. A lot of people are going through this. Families are dealing with alcoholism. I personally have someone very close to me, a sibling of mine that I have been trying to help for several years. And I keep praying that one day we will wake up and he will dislike the taste of alcohol. You know, I know husbands that are struggling with wives, wives that are struggling with husbands, and indeed, we need to do something about it. But when somebody comes to you and tells you, I am drinking because, for example, I'm jobless and the government is not creating jobs for me. Or somebody says, maybe the politics of our country, in Kenya, for example, that is what is causing this. And I mentioned Kenya because there's a report that was released by NACADA. That's a very recent report. Robert, you'd know about it. It revealed that bang users in Kenya have increased by 90% in the last 5 years. But they also revealed that approximately 1 in every 8 Kenyans aged 15 to 65, totaling about 3.1 million people, is a consumer of alcohol. And as we say, there's no product that is consumed and that is widely available as alcohol that accounts for as much premature death and disability. Alcohol is not good, and we need to spread that message. When you bring campaigns like Tunyweless and people come to you and they say, we're drinking because of depression, does that send you back to the boardroom?
Actually, I can just start maybe by the comment of Anonymous.
Please.
So, you know, the day that you can even forget where you have been, the day that you can forget where people whom you were together, in public health it's called ERI frost. That means this harmful use of alcohol is reducing one day among 365 days that you should remain in your life. So I think that the hangover period, it's one of the issues that can show you that you were died, because during this period it seems that you're missing some life signs. So I can call this scenario of maybe alcohol use among families like a scourge, that take roots from the history, from the culture, from the society, but of course that is harming all of the life of a consumer. It's not only consumer, but it's also affecting the whole community and family members, especially those who are suffering from mental health conditions. It seems like they can take alcohol as if they are doing self-medication because they have pain, they have problems, they have stress, they are jobless, they just want to live happy. Unfortunately, they don't get it. So they think that self-treatment by using of alcohol is solving a problem. But once you come back to life, you find out that you have been missing double. Because alcohol, or even harmful use of alcohol, it's a matter of brain that is affected. When the brain is affected, you don't do anything. It's a kind of erasing capacity of thinking. It's a matter of cognitive. It's a matter of life lost. So I can say that with use of alcohol, a simple try of use of alcohol, it's an entry to the danger of losing life. There are some findings from CDC, from other experts who says that alcohol, maybe you can take 2 drinks a day, maybe, and you escape other day and continue. These are findings, but not based on real facts, because the real fact is that once you consume even drop of alcohol, it's whether you push on your life to danger.
We've been told that a glass a day keeps the doctor away. A glass of red wine, for example. So that even that is not based on facts?
So maybe when you don't drink, you are in clean, you are in a safe space.
You will never need a doctor.
Yes. But as long as you go up to take a glass, you're just entering the yellow color. So I mean that once you take alcohol, it means that you have escaped a good way of living. Maybe you wanted to live, but in an unfortunate way, you want to try to live. But of course, you are missing a good opportunity to live positively. It's where you start to drink. That's what we call people to not try to drink, especially those in younger age. But if you have tried to drink, that's the name of this campaign. If you have tried, minimize frequencies, quantities, quality of alcohol that you're talking about, but maybe continue to reduce, because it's a process when somebody started to drink. But for those who have never been drinking, who have abstained since the time, better to continue to abstain up to where the decision making it's coming.
Yeah, you know, I would love to. When I said earlier that the topic of alcoholism has been trending for the whole week, it was all started by the op-ed by the First Lady of Rwanda, Madame Jeannette Kagame, who expressed her thoughts on alcohol by reminding us to join the battle of fighting alcohol addiction. I'll just quote something that she said: from curiosity to enjoyment, from enjoyment to craving, from craving to dependency, and from dependency to addiction. And that is something that Robert alluded to. That even a person who became addicted to it later in life did not start drinking a whole crate. It always started as a small thing.
That's a process of starting.
Yes.
It started slowly, and clears with heavy drinking, and continue with the addictions. But when it comes to addictions, like Alexis first said, you are unable to control yourself. So that's where the danger comes. So maybe high-level danger comes when you are addicted because you continue to drink, however, or maybe whatever people are doing for you, except maybe to consult.
Dinamo, have you ever tasted alcohol?
Yes, I did.
Do you still taste it?
A little bit.
A little bit. I love it. Robert, have you ever tasted alcohol?
No, I don't take alcohol at all.
At all, not even a sip?
I don't take alcohol at all.
Oh, that's commendable. That's amazing. Do you want to ask me the same question, or should we pass?
Please answer. Tell us.
Go away. I'm not answering. Robert, when you know, as you said, and Dinamo said, you will only start as it's a small gathering of friends and family. I would love to come to ask you about the role of parents, for example, who themselves drink. And they stock up some alcohol in the fridge. Then they send their 10-year-old, their 12-year-old to bring this bottle to them. Sometimes they even give them a sip. Robert, what effect would that have on a child?
Very, very deep effect. I have a personal friend of mine who went into about 30 years of alcohol addiction because of testing his father's alcohol in the cabinet. And I think, to be honest with you, this so-called new age parenting is taking us to a level of irresponsibility that is of PhD levels, to be honest with you, because now we want to appear as if we are with it, that we can have wine in front of our children so that they say our parents are open with us and all that, but it has adverse effects. Children don't necessarily do what you tell them as a parent, but they see what you do and they ape what you do. If mom drinks, hey, then it's okay for me to drink if I go for a party at my friend's place or an afternoon siesta. So parents of the new age must go back to the drawing board, and let's go back to what we call communion type of parenthood, whereby any person of your parents' age, if they get you doing something that is out of the parameters of discipline, they can discipline you, pinch you, and take you to your parents for the second level of discipline. But we are getting to a place where they say times have changed. And I have had the privilege of having many young people come to my office for counseling, and even with their parents. And when I ask the very difficult question, the kids look at the parents and say, but mom, I first tested alcohol in our house. When you went to work, I tested, and I would add some water, and you never knew. And that's how it starts. So parents who want to be with it, who wants to appear as if, you know, they're hippie and they're moving with the times, are actually playing a major role in killing generation next. So we need to tell parents, stop it. And I'm not saying they should stop drinking. Some will tell me they're grown-ups, but okay, fine. Do not do it in the presence of your children if you really have to take alcohol. And even if you are to store the alcohol, put it in a place that is not within earshot or eyesight of your children. Because when they see, they get curious. When they get curious from their eyes, their tongue starts tingling, and then they open the bottle and taste it, and they're like, oh, I feel a bit woozy, but it feels good. So I can't wait for mom and dad to go back to work tomorrow for me to test it. And then when they're released to go for a weekend out with their friends, then they'll go all out. 5 years down the line, we are having now too many rehab centers as opposed to educational facilities and libraries. And this is the direction we are going if you're not careful. And I commend the First Lady of Rwanda for taking the bull by its horns, because the truth of the matter, and we cannot hide our head in the sand, is that the alcohol companies, this is a billion-dollar industry, and they will come at anyone who tries to interfere with their upward mobility in as far as profits are concerned. So we must stand up to be counted and say, you know what, enough is enough. We are not going to lose the next generation because of a few companies that have a high appetite of profit making while killing the future of Africa.
Thank you, Robert. And Dinamo, you know, the First Lady said splendidly shot TV advertisements show us beautiful, healthy, and confident-looking people having the time of their wonderful and desirable lives because a glass of alcohol is in their hand. Movies depict alcohol abuse as a common, fun hobby. The songs that serenade us in both joy and sorrow speak of the bottle as of a heavenly healing and empowering entity. And she describes this as a cruel farce. Now, Robert has said it's a billion-dollar industry. That is not just in Rwanda, not in East Africa, it's worldwide. I'm reminded of a guy, I think it was Victor or someone on Twitter, who posted about a road trip that he took with his children. And his 6 or 7-year-old daughter asked him, Daddy, why are there so many billboards advertising alcohol? So we come back here, and this is a business that is registered to sell what is not poisonous, you know? Here it is, they can advertise, they can get licensed, they're making money out of it.
Yeah.
If we are to push a campaign like this to save the generation, do you see us getting to a point where legislation comes into play to protect the people? Will you say maybe we are not longer registering people? How would you deal with something like that? A 6-year-old is concerned that there are so many billboards advertising alcohol, and in fact, they're the biggest billboards in the country.
Absolutely, this is a very danger issue that you have in this, maybe not only in this country, but wherever in the world.
Yeah.
So, but that's why we even here. I think that the first issue to do is just to inform our people. Our people are well informed about the effects of alcohol. Number two is that, however, people know that they can take decision to drink, but they should not ignore their life. Comes the first. Number two is that there are misinformation toward alcohol. This, once the information, the education is coming on, once the information is provided, this is number one. But also, we shall also look on how some legislation of industries and something else. Maybe I'm not the right person to respond to this. But of course, we need a kind of regulation, this kind of attractive adverts that are not even always correct toward in the content, because they can say that maybe this alcohol is good for health and so on. But today, we need that people should be informed that, however, good adverts that are attractive, however, there are industries which are producing alcohol, but they should put their life first. Maybe those who are working in legislation, process of regulation of advertisement and so on, I think that the good industries maybe which are planning to get profit for the future, they should be also take part in prevention programs like this one, is like a prevention of alcohol use among children, because we want to have maybe future people to buy some small quantity of alcohol, but for a long time. They should just preserve the life of the next consumers. This is like investment in human capital investment. Another issue is that however, the Ministry of Health or maybe health sector is doing our best in terms of providing an information, raising up a campaign like this one, but we are working closely with the other sectors that are supporting this campaign. But of course, we are focusing on an individual that makes sure that our people are well informed, especially those categories of children, like he was saying, lactating women, maybe those under 21 years because they are still under development stage, those breastfeeding women. You see that they deserve a full life without alcohol. And when some people even take the decision to drink, they don't know even themselves about their health status, because sometimes you can find some people who don't know even when they started to drink, and they don't know about their health. And if they try even to drink, you find out that they are facing many challenges regarding to their health, and sometimes they are fall into intoxication and even death. So,
you know, the First Lady said that there's the letter, when she was writing this letter, she said that this letter is not for those that have their alcohol use under control. Although even those in control must remain vigilant, for they are nevertheless dealing with a dangerous substance. In your campaign, have you left room for those of us who have our alcohol use under control to help you? Help the others that have it out of control?
So we are targeting different categories of people, including those who are drinking.
Even if it's under control?
Yes, even Tunyweless means what? Tunyweless means that try your best to reduce the quantity and the frequency of alcohol that you're using, because you are pretending to have life today, but you don't know about the future. And she said, well, that you're pretending to have a good life today, but you will fall down into alcohol addictions and so on. I clearly heard the message, read the message, and it's full of the information that you want to hear from. So, and I think that no one should ignore the issue of parents who are initiating their children just on drink, because sometimes children do not even know about alcohol, but they are initiated by their parents, who deserve to have the information. This Tunyweless campaign and inzoga siza just like complementing campaigns, but of course focusing on individual and how people should just live a healthy life without alcohol. As I said, no safe alcohol.
I like that. Let's go back online to Mr. Anonymous, our friend that we will call Ben. Ben, who is helping you on the journey of recovery? Would you say it's your friends, your peers, or family? Who's holding your hand?
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes. I am really grateful to be part of the group, and this group is worldwide. We like to say nowadays that this is a great time. Jokingly, this is a great time to be an addict. Why? Because help is available. After COVID, we can easily attend meetings, support meetings online, any time of the day and any time of the week. It's not necessary to take a bus to a meeting. It's not necessary to drive under heavy rain to a meeting. I can access a meeting when I get up or before I go to bed, and share experience, strength, and hope with people who are like me, who understand me, and who help me on the journey of staying away from my drug of choice. I am really grateful that help is available, and even here in Rwanda, we have our group is active, and we have a pretty regular meeting that can help people who want really to
Let me ask you, Ben, do you ever feel like you miss your past life? The fun that you had then, do you miss it?
No, I don't miss the hangover part. My life has changed a lot, and I have understood I no longer need the drink. I have understood why I was drinking, because drinking for me, alcoholism is a disease. For us, alcoholism is a disease, and it's a spiritual disease. When we say it's a spiritual disease, no wonder why in our culture they say that people are bewitched, alcoholics are bewitched, or if they see anything that is beyond understanding, you see control themselves. They say they are bewitched. It's because the need for a drink or any other drug is spiritual. It's something I needed to fill the void in my life with something, with my drug of choice, with alcohol. Now I have a full life. I am very much of service. Wow. I attend meetings. I help. Very important. That's I help good. Other people. I help other people who are like me to stop drinking and to get on the journey for recovery. And this gives me meaning to my life, which makes me not really miss my past, which is a life of really of distraction, self-destruction.
Wow. Thank you, Ben. Thank you very much.
Welcome.
He says spiritual. Now, let me talk to Robert first before I come to you, Dynamo. Robert, is it spiritual? Because I think there was a time when, for my own case, my relatives, my siblings' case, there was a time when I thought this thing is spiritual. This spiritual, hereditary, there's something that our forefathers did that keeps haunting the family. Because you can imagine, the parents don't drink. So the siblings could drink, but they still remain functioning. And then there's one person who does not function at all. Is there something spiritual to this? And I'm asking you, Robert, because I know you're also a strong, you're a person of strong faith.
Yes, patterns never lie, and life is very spiritual. You would even hear of cases where a family is known for violence, another family is known for people who drink, another one is known for people who never get married, and this and that. So there's always a spiritual angle into everything that happens in the physical realm. And one thing you realize, a greater percentage of the people who go into these addictions are usually very intelligent, creative people with bright futures. So the spiritual angle is whereby a portal has been opened to steal the productivity of these human beings. Even the Bible says some of these things do not go but by prayer and fasting. There's a place of prayer, even as we get men and women to help in the physical realm. So we cannot ever ignore the place of prayer, because yes, some things are opened spiritually.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, that is, I get the point. I get the point. And as you've said, it always picks the brightest. It will be the most generous person in the family, the most brilliant. The person that everyone relies on is the one that will perish because of it. Dynamo, is it something that we can fight? If we're saying it's spiritual, in our quest to have the generation saved, should we send them to church? Should we use the religious establishments to make sure that we are talking to these people, maybe not about clubbing, but about the word of God?
As I said before, alcohol use is one of behavior issues. We're dealing with behaviors. We're dealing with culture issues. We are dealing with something that we live in with every day because it is accepted substance. So the better way is that when you want to work on behavior, better to work with those who knows how to deal with the behaviors, including those from churches, because they have even their own of providing psychological intervention in terms of behavior change. They know how to deal with cognitives. They know how they can take people. Because some of those young people are struggling with the alcohol abuse, they are saying that they don't have something to do. They can see that they have been even rejected by some other peoples. That's why they take the decision to go to drink. There are some others who just are there, they don't know where they are, they don't believe about their future. They find out that their future is a bit broken. So that's why even the church is coming. So church is among some communion that are providing psychological care and behavior approach to support those who are struggling with the harmful use of alcohol. But of course, alcohol touches our body. It touches our living, our way of living. That's why even medical care, it's one of the interventions that these people deserve. So it depends on the level of harmful use of alcohol. It depends on which quality, which quantity, and how frequent you take alcohol, which needs a kind of intervention, either medical or maybe psychological or maybe social intervention that is supporting those who have been affected by alcohol. So for me, I take that alcohol use maybe at the starting period, there is a missing of an information. If these churches should be providing good information towards harmful use of alcohol and how can people deal with, especially fighting this peer pressure that our colleagues have been talking about. How can I behave? Do we need to continue to have young people calling others to come to pubs, to bars, to drink? If these churches should be working in that sense, should we continue to have people calling drunk people to continue to drink? I think no. We are always facing with the police talking about drink and driving matters. I think that if these people should be listening well to their pastors, to their leaders, I think they should be in a good line to go away from alcohol.
Yeah, thank you. We'll take a very short break, and then when we come back, we will have a look at some of the comments that have come online. I can see Sylvie Nsanga, there's a friend of mine, Isa, who's also commented. So we'll just take a very short break, then come back with a look at those messages that are online. If you haven't sent yours yet, please do so. The hashtag is the Summit RW. Let's see what Sylvie says. While young people should be responsible, the society and the industry are killing them, consequently regulating